Hi, this is going to be a stretched in 6 with the MINIMAX Phase 2 Neutral Spine for Healthy Spines. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the MINIMAX in order to stretch our hamstring. So you're going to put the arch of your foot right into the middle of the MINIMAX. It's always good to have a wall close by just to make sure that your balance is okay. Softly bend your support knee. Put your hands at your hips if you can for balance. And then also assess, make sure that the right hip is equal to the left. And then from there, start to hip hinge. So remembering that movement that we did from earlier, when we were doing our quads, where we try to flex at our hips and keep our spine straight. So gaze out in front, find the stretch in the hamstring. You can push the arch of your foot in the MINIMAX and reach the sits bones back. Very good. And then from here you can come back, turn the foot inward, so internal rotation, because the hamstring does have 3 parts. So you'll find that different parts of your hamstrings could be tighter. Nice. Once again, working for that straight spine, making sure that your left hip is equal to your right hip, and then bring it back. Externally rotate. So I got my foot turned out, and then come in. That actually is the hardest or the stiffest position for me, but you'll find that everybody's different. I did just now reach out for the wall to give me a little bit more support. And very good. So then we're going to go ahead and switch to the other side. So our support knee is softly bent. Make sure your pelvis is equal. Hip hinge forward, reaching the part of your hair forward as you reach your sits bones in the opposite direction. My foot is centered on the rounded end of the MINIMAX. Arch of my foot is in the center. Nice. And then from here, I can go to internal rotation. That means my foot has gone inward or pigeon-toed. Same hip hinge, reaching the head away from the sits bones. Nice, long, straight spine. Working on that flexibility. Very good. And now we got the external rotation. Turn that leg out, hip hinge forward. That's it. Nice straight spine. And very good. So from here we're going to work on mobilizing your ankles. So you're going to put your fists into the MINIMAX, and then you're going to rock forward. You'll feel some stretching in your Achilles tendon, maybe also some stretching in the front of your ankles. So sometimes our ankles get very stiff and it makes it hard for us to squat. So go ahead and find that. If you're not finding too much difficulty with that, start to put your hands on the slope. So notice that I've got my knees bent and I'm bringing that weight forward. Also, I got to keep those heels down, right? If I start to lift my heels, I'm going to lose that stretch. So rock, hip forward and bring it back. Trying to mobilize those ankles. Rock it forward and rock it back. Nice. And then we're going to go ahead and do a hip flexor stretch. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my right knee into the ground. What am I talking about? Into the MINIMAX, and then my toes are flexed behind me. And then from here I can just inchworm that leg forward and I come up. Get the pelvis to be square. Posterior tilt the pelvis. So let the glutes slide down the back of your leg. Should find some opening through the hip flexor. And then from there you can just shift forward and bring back. So you want to watch out that you're not arching to find the stretch. I've got my pelvis tucked underneath me. I'm squeezing that right glute, that's my rear glute, and then I shift the weight forward. And then bring it back. Shift Abs are in, no arching of the spine, finding the length in the front of my hip. And back. So the MINIMAX is making it easier for me. Sometimes pressure into the knee can be uncomfortable. It also helps me find this position more easily. Nice, and then from here, reach the arm up and side bend over. Finding that hip flexor stretch and then going into the side body. And nice, and I got the wall there for a little bit of steadying. Bring that other leg around, make sure my toes are touching and they're flexed. I got good knee bend into the MINIMAX, and then from here. So on this side you'll be able to see posterior tilt. So as the tush goes down, I find length through the front of my body, and then I can shift forward and back. You can always inchworm that leg further out, find the posterior tilt, keep the squeeze, shift forward, open through the hip flexor, and bring it back. And come forward and back. Come forward, watch that you're not arching your spine. Reach the arm up and then side bend over. So now you got the hip flexor stretch plus the side body stretching, because the hip flexor does attach to your lumbar spine. So from here we'll go ahead and come all the way through, have a seat on the MINIMAX, and then just open those legs wide. Reach your straight arms down. We're going to open up those inner thighs. So I just want you to push those knees back. Try to stay as vertical as you can. So you find that stretch from one high inner thigh across the pelvic floor to the other. If you wanted to get deeper into that stretch, you can bring those legs back and maybe even closer to the MINIMAX and try to push back, sitting up as tall as you can, finding flexibility in those high inner thigh muscles. So the MINIMAX just makes it easier than being on the floor where we might be a little bit more rounded, trying to find our stretches. So here we're able to lift up and out. And then from there we're going to go ahead and stretch. One leg to straight, one leg bent. Then the hand is on the back of the MINIMAX, the same as the bent leg. Take your arm across. Now you push down on the MINIMAX, lift and twist. So you are turning and trying to push the bent knee across body, but you're also trying to lift up. And very good. From here we'll switch to the other side. So I push that knee across, try to lift up, twist and look over my shoulder, taking note of what I see there. We're going to try to see if we can increase that stretch. Nice, and then we'll do that again. Push down in order to find length of your spine, so it's a stretch without compression because we're trying to get taller as we twist. So we can look a little further. And then to the other side. Get tall, twist and look. Gently pushing that bent knee across body. Excellent. And so then we're going to start working on some backward bend. So that's going to sound scary, but the MINIMAX will definitely help support you. There's so many different ways that you can start to work on backward bending with the MINIMAX. So you can have the point this way and then start to arch back like I'm doing, supporting your head, and then starting to lengthen one leg to straight. So you start to find some length across the body. You can let the other leg go to straight. You can, of course, explore keeping one knee bent, releasing an arm, bringing the arm back to support the head, and arch back this way. If everything's feeling okay, maybe you go ahead and release. So for me, I feel like I would want more neck support, so then I can just slide back on the MINIMAX a little bit more. So now my neck gets supported by the mat. And then I get my stretch this way. So you're just trying to find stretch into your anterior body. Yep, and you can, of course, if that doesn't feel so good for you, you can explore with having the MINIMAX in the other direction. I think that's probably a little bit more easy in the sense of just getting back into the stretches. But once again, just try to find what feels good for your body, but this should open up the chest and the stomach and the hip flexors, reverse all that sitting that we do. But with any stretch, make sure you can welcome it into your body, never force it. All right, that's it for phase 2. Keep your eyes peeled for phase 3. Thanks a lot.